After studying this module, you will be able to understand the financing decision, absorb the meaning and designing of financial structure, learn the meaning and techniques of planning capital structure, acquire the understanding of leverage analysis, know the meaning, features, computation, interpretation, significance and applications of operating leverage.
A firm's capital structure or financing decision is concerned with obtaining funds to meet firm's long-term investment requirements. It involves determining how the selected assets or projects will be financed. Broadly, financing decisions involve two components. Firstly, to decide the total funds requirement. This depends on the investment decision of the firm. And secondly, to decide the sources and combinations of sources to raise such funds. Financial structure is the combination of all fund sources that appear on the liability side of the balance sheet. Financial structure is equals to equity share capital plus preferential share capital plus reserve and surplus plus long-term debt plus current liabilities. While designing financial structure, following questions matter. What should be the relationship between long-term and short-term sources of funds? In what proportion the funds be arranged from various long-term sources? In what proportion the funds be arranged from various short-term sources? Capital structure is a mix of long-term sources of funds to finance projects, that is, equity share capital, preferential share capital, reserve and surplus, long-term debt, as against financial structure which includes all the sources. The process that leads to the final choice of the capital structure is called capital structure planning. The widely used techniques are leverage analysis and EBS analysis. We shall discuss leverage analysis in this module. Leverage analysis. Leverage is percentage change in dependent variable due to certain percentage change in the independent variable. In financial management, leverage analysis means use of fixed operating cost and use of sources of funds which carry fixed financial cost to increase the potential return of an investment. Operating, financial, and combined leverages are the three types of leverages. Starting with operating leverage, it is the use of fixed cost in the firm's operation. Operating leverage measures the sensitivity of a firm's operating income to a change in sales. A firm will not have operating leverage if its ratio of fixed costs to the total cost is nil. If the firm has fixed cost, it would have operating leverage and the percentage change in the operating profit would be more for a given percentage change in sales. The features of operating leverage are: it measures the relationship between the sales revenue and EBIT. It impacts capital structure and return on total assets. It relates with the business risk of a firm. It is related to the composition of fixed assets and it affects assets side of balance sheet of the firm. Let us now learn how to compute operating leverage. Degree of operating leverage is the percentage change in a firm's operating profit, EBIT, resulting from a percentage change in sales. The formula for the same is shown here. It can also be computed by dividing contribution by the EBIT as shown here, where the contribution is the sales revenue minus variable cost and EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. If contribution is greater than the fixed cost, operating leverage is favorable. If the contribution is less than the fixed cost, operating leverage is unfavorable. If DOL is equal to K, an X percentage increase in sales will produce a K times X percent increase in EBIT. When comparing firms, the firm with the highest DOL is the firm that will be most sensitive to change in sales. Now, to deepen our understanding, We will illustrate computation of operating leverage with the help of an example. We consider two cases whereby values of three variables are given to us as shown here. We know that the DOL can be computed by using the formula as shown here. For this, we first calculate contribution and EBIT. Using the given data, the value of contribution comes out to be Rs 80,000 in case 1 and Rs 1,20,000 in case 2. And EBIT comes out to be Rs 40,000 in case 1 and Rs 80,000 in case 2. Substituting these values in the formula, DOL comes out to be 2 in case 1 and 1.5 in case 2. For a firm having higher degree of operating leverage, even a small change in sales level will have a magnified effect on EBIT. A small increase in sales will significantly increase the operating profit, and a small decrease in sales will significantly decrease the operating profits. Therefore, the firm should always try to avoid operating under high degree of operating leverage, as a high DOL condition is a high risk situation. Operating leverage plays a very important role in capital budgeting decisions in identifying profitable investment projects. Operating leverage is very important for long-term profit planning. Capital structure decisions of a firm are also affected by its operating leverage.
Now, let us summarize. Financing decisions involve deciding about the total funds requirements, sources of raising required funds, and the proportion in which funds are to be raised from various sources. Combination of all fund sources that appear on the liability side of the balance sheet is known as financial structure. Mix of long-term sources of fund to finance projects is called capital structure. Capital structure is equal to financial structure minus current liabilities. Capital structure planning is the process that leads to the final choice of the capital structure. Leverage analysis and EBIT EPS analysis are two main capital structure planning techniques. Leverage analysis means use of fixed operating cost and use of sources of funds which carry fixed financial cost to increase the potential return of an investment. The three types of leverage are operating, financial, and combined leverage. Operating leverage refers to the use of fixed cost in the firm's operation. It points out that the impact of change in sales on operating income EBIT. Degree of operating leverage DOL is equal to percentage change in operating profit upon percentage change in sales, which is equal to contribution about EBIT, which is equal to sales minus variable cost upon sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost. If DOL is equal to K, X percentage increase in sales will cause K into X percentage increase in EBIT. For a firm having higher degree of operating leverage, even a small change in sales level will have a magnifying effect on EBIT. A firm should always try to avoid operating under high DOL, as a high DOL condition is a high risk situation. Operating leverage plays a very crucial role in capital budgeting decisions, profit planning, and capital structure decisions. DOL significantly increases business risk.